Hi, Patrick, Walk for Lost Kids. Happy National Fatherless Day. Uh, I've got all my material here. I've got my handy dandy map. Oh, wrong way. My handy dandy map that shows the 30 odd protests happening today. I have got my contact list, people to contact. I have my caffeinated beverage of choice. I have got bad backlighting here, so you see my dark face. And we're going to have some people call in and hear about what's going on in the events across the country today. How you doing?
How you doing?
Good to have you on. How you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Not too bad.
Been a very busy day considering the circumstances.
Yeah, I'm juggling like keyboards and technology and phones, and good to have you on though. So this is Frank Fernandez. He's in Tucson, Arizona, and Frank, you take the floor. What do you want to tell us about your event?
Well, our event is just like all other events, I'm sure, across the nation. We're trying to bring awareness to the courts that we're not simply going to stand down and just take the punishment that they're giving us. I consider it punishment rather than orders. That they're not allowing us to see our kids. It's been since December of 2015 on myself, my personal situation, where I've had a chance to see my own kids. It has obviously not only affected me, but it's affected the grandparents, the aunts, who are out here as well supporting the cause.
Yeah, what specifically is happening in Arizona at this point? Is Arizona trying to change legislation or anything? Or
Arizona currently has its own legislation already in place for to be able to split up the. It's no longer called custody orders. It's more called legal decision making. However, the legal decision making, based off of how busy the father might be, what type of career path he might have, they're giving the authority more so to the woman because, like myself, I've worked for the majority of the day. However, they don't think that we can adjust if we had, additional time with our own kids, in which case they just naturally assume things and they remove our ability to be able to see our kids a lot more often than the custodial parent or the legal decision-making parent, if you will.
Yeah. Are you finding in your state that that fathers are getting just 100% eliminated altogether, or is it, just?
It's about 95% where the fathers are being eliminated. Yes, I can say that with some confidence, as it's gotten to the point where quite a bit of individuals this morning. I sent you a picture this morning. I'm not sure if you can share that or not. How many individuals turned out this early morning?
You're testing my ability. I'll look for the photo, but I might not be able to, I'm a guy, so I can't do too many things at one time.
I understand. There's in the backdrop here, if you see in the back here, you got the Superior Court building where you have a lot of judges. This particular side of the Superior Court is where the judges' chambers are at. A lot of the judges have been taking notice that we're out here. You can see that they're looking with binoculars, looking at what the cause is, taking their own pictures and taking note. Some of the lawyers who have taken their breaks from some of the hearings have come down from the courthouse themselves to take a look at what's going on.
It's kind of scary to me that the country's changed so much that the issue has turned into them trying to knock down our free speech more than trying to fix the system. I mean, the reason you're out there is atrocities are happening, and it's just kind of scary to me that our world has changed so dramatically.
It has, yes. It's an unfortunate situation.
Well, again, the reason that I'm pulling together this webcast is to show that your event there is just one of many events across the country right now, and we appreciate you, being out here and speaking up for people in Arizona. But this is a nationwide problem, and it's happening everywhere. And until more people take notice, there's just going to be more kids tortured because they don't have a father in their lives.
I agree. And there's a lot more things that come with it other than not seeing their loved ones. Obviously, this leads to their own depression, their own anxiety, their own understanding, thinking that people are, their family members have abandoned them. That leads to substance abuse. That leads to various other instances that have caused, teen suicides. It causes a whole slew of issues.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I thank you for coming in and letting us know about what's going on in Tucson.
Absolutely, and like I shared, definitely, right now we're a little bit at our slower moment right now.
Yeah.
But as you can see, there's been quite a few shirts already that we've gotten rid of, and people are actually actively wearing them, and we're signing up everybody on a petition to petition Congress to enact a better father reform and be able to get this problem resolved.
How late you guys going to be running today? I know you're up pretty early for the.
All the way up till 5:30 in the evening.
Okay, so people can come join you. Where are you at? My geography isn't as good as it used to be.
We're at the corner of Congress and Church Avenue.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'll try to drum up some business for you, and thanks for speaking up for not only yourself and the people that are there with you, but really for fathers and parents everywhere that are being knocked down by the system.
I greatly appreciate the support.
Okay, thanks a lot, Frank. Great having you. Okay, bye. The hard part of this activism for family court reform is just each of these is a personal battle. I mean, when you talk to these people, you quickly understand that they're going through emotional turmoil brought on by the family court system. These people aren't out there doing this as a hobby because they want to be doing it. People are driven to the point where they realize they need to speak up and they need to change the system. And so my heart really goes out to people, like Frank, that are being beaten down by the system, because when you have been in his shoes, you understand how horrible it is to have your kids taken away, to be, knocked down financially, and both you and your kids deal with all, as Frank mentioned, a whole slew of issues, from teen suicide and teen substance abuse and fathers killing themselves. So this is a societal problem, and it's not just about divorce. It's about, taking care of each other as human beings. And so I thank Frank for calling in. You are live and on the web, and you have the floor. Say whatever you need to say, Tom.
I hope everybody comes out and joins us. We're doing great here in Alaska. We've got a good turnout up here. We got two corners. We're across the street from the courthouse. We've got face painting. So I hope everybody else that's out there that hasn't gone to their rally yet, they'll think about showing up. We need to get as many numbers out as we can.
Well, I think you have pretty impressive Facebook stats. We've got like 30 rallies throughout the country. It's good to see the the movement get bigger and bigger every year. I feel like we're really going to make some change.
I think so too. It's we've actually, if all the states showed up that said they were going to. We had 40 states that were committed, and so that's a good turnout.
I was just asking you, Alaska, itself. Have you guys been able to make any changes in the state at all?
We haven't yet. I've concentrated so much on the national movement that I have not concentrated on a local group here. Last year, my family and I came down. The first year, we were down in D.C. when we started these rallies. Last year was our first year here in Alaska. It was family and a few others. And this year has been quite a good turnout. A lot of these people I'm just meeting for the first time. So we're starting to grow here in Alaska. We had our first meet and greet last month, and we're looking to start putting together a plan of action. But as of yet, we have not.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're up against that. Like it's divide and conquer. Like they make us fight at the state level in each situation, and so it's harder for us to keep the national movement going.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be bouncing around. As you know, my point here is to try to show what where we stand on a national level, and so I'm going to try to pick up as many cities as we can and transmit and give you copies of the video. If you got anybody else there wants to say anything, you can put them on.
Okay, hold on just a minute. I'll see if anybody does.
And, okay.
Patrick, thank you for putting this together.
No, anything I can do to help.
Live feeding to Facebook right now. Just come out and support. Everybody counts. Can't do it all on our own. So any support out here, we really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Ian, we're Facebooking live to want to say any words.
Hey guys, here's support. Everybody look.
This is Neil. I think you've seen him on Facebook. Neil, we're going live to Patrick Glenn. Neil Shelton. So thank you, Patrick. Appreciate you doing what you're doing here.
Yeah, anything I can do to support you, Tom. You just let me know what you need. If you want to call me back at any point during the day, just chime in. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Take care of yourself.
All right, guys.
Bye. So again, that was Tom Fiddler, who runs the Fathers' Rights movement, and he's done considerable work on a national level to bring us all together. And we have all these small pockets throughout the entire U.S. Do I have my... No, this way. The entire U.S. So all these rallies are taking place today, and in itself, any one rally may only have 20 or 30 people at it. But when you take it on a national level, we've got hundreds of people showing support for changing the family courts. We need to make some changes at a national level. We need to make changes at a state level. And we need to get fathers back into their children's lives. This is an epidemic. It's influencing millions of people. And the only way that change is going to occur is if people come out, speak up, and force some changes. So again, thanks, Tom, for chiming in and helping us out.
Our personal stories are out there. They've been out there for quite a while. also put your right in the book. Right? We are constitutional scholars. We're here to tell you that you have constitutional rights. You had full and complete constitutional rights the day before you got divorced. You have full and equal constitutional rights the day after you get divorced. The state has no legitimate authority whatsoever to take those away from you. None. But you have to fight. As some of the other speakers said, you have to stand up and fight. And what we do is help you understand exactly what language you can use to fight. We give you powerful tools, powerful language to use in that fight. And understanding your rights is number one. On Wednesday, we were already here in Austin for marriage and family court. And before his hearing, there were criminal hearings. And if each one of these defendants would come up before the judge would very carefully and specifically tell him what his rights are and ask him or her what their rights were, if they understood those rights, if they discussed those rights with their attorney, and if they were prepared to waive those rights by signing this document, and that they were aware that signing the document waived their rights. And that's what we're saying these divorce court judges need to be doing. You will not today find a divorce court judge or very few divorce court attorneys who will tell you you have any constitutional rights at all. I asked when I got divorced. Every attorney I spoke to said I simply didn't have any. They're wrong, and we prove they're wrong. You have the First Amendment rights of family association. You have the right and the duty to educate your child. Well, I'm here to tell you that's a First Amendment free speech right and a free speech duty. And they can't take that right away any more than they can take your right away to speak here in public today. And if you know this, you can stop them from doing what they're doing. You have a Fourth Amendment right to your property. Child support is your property. They have to prove reasonableness in each case, Fourth Amendment, before they can take your property. And if they're stealing your time and using that to justify taking your property, that's clearly not reasonable. What most people don't know is your right to your child is also a First Amendment right. Your right to your money and spending money on your child is a First Amendment right. That comes from these political cases where they say that donating money to a candidate creates a relationship that's protected by the First Amendment. Well, guess what? Spending money on your child in support of your parent-child relationship is a First Amendment protected right. And the state saying you have to care for your child beyond the minimum that applies to married parents is a First Amendment right. That's your choice as a parent, how much more than the minimum you want to spend on your child. It's not the state's to tell you. Okay? And it violates equal protection and a whole lot of other things. All of these things come to us through the 14th Amendment. We talk about this in our book, and we give you very clear and precise language to help you do this. First of all, you need to know, getting divorced cannot take away your parental rights. Your rights as a parent are in no way tied to your marriage, none whatsoever. If you know this, you have the power to fight and you can stand up to these judges. I'm going to let Sherry speak a little bit here. She gets a little more personal than I do. I'll let you say it.
I still want to be loud in the head over here.
I'll guard you.
Even the Texas flag is trying to take us down. Well, first of all, I just wanted to say it really pisses me off that I have to come back here every year and talk about this when it's clear that every single one of you guys and your children have the right to be protected by these courts and these judges. You should not have to fear going in there when somebody threatens to interfere with those rights. So it really makes me angry, and it's hard to come back here every year and think that they're still ignoring all of you. I'm really happy to see that so many more people are showing up each year. We do need more people. And our earlier speaker, Mike Hendricks, he mentioned to us, and I want to tell all of you guys, because it was so, it's so true, about how many parents can't even get out of bed to get here. So all of you are doing that for them. That's how important you are standing here today. So when these types of things happen to our people in our communities, I know a lot of you noticed, like in Orlando, we have a meme going around that we shared from somebody else saying, why is everyone getting so pissed off at these other things when there's just as much harm, damage, death, and killing going on with our children, our families, and everything else, but they don't seem to take the same interest, do they? But why is that? Well, a lot of that is because they don't believe that there's a problem, right? First of all, they don't believe that our judges would actually ignore our rights. They don't believe that an attorney actually would tell you to steal a child from another parent unless they've gone through it. But once you're going through it, it's almost impossible to convince them without them thinking there's just something wrong with you, right? And it's time, and I'm so glad to see signs like this one saying this is about equal parenting. This is not about angry parents. This is not about parents who just didn't get their way, and this is not about parents who don't care about their children and their families. So, like Ron had said, with our materials, the reason it's important is all of you that are out there fighting every day run into barriers, right? You go in, you talk to your lawyers, they tell you you don't have rights like they did to Ron, like they did to me. And you're so stressed out that it takes so much energy and so much time to try to figure this out yourself that it's kind of nice when you come up, well, we hope, that's kind of nice, and when you come across our stuff, you go, oh my God, that's exactly what I thought. And we proved it. We proved it for you guys. So when you come across this material, it just makes it easier for you. It makes it easier to educate our children, the grandparents, the next generations. So it's so important to understand that the movement is gaining more and more momentum because you guys are getting the arguments right now. You guys have understood now what the problem is. And the problem is not that the parents' divorce is causing the children to lose a parent. It's the divorce court judges. It's the attorneys who aren't updating their practices and learning these arguments on your behalf. So, I don't know how many of you are currently going through the process right now, but if you are, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking this time. I know a lot of you took the time off work to be here, right? I see one dad over there that, kids are that important, but what happens when you take that time off work? They're going to attack you over child support, aren't they? They're going to say, oh, you took time off work and you say you can't pay child support or you can't pay more money. Well, that's when you use some of these arguments, right? Instead of just cowering down because they beat you so much in a corner saying, don't you care about your kid? What's wrong with you? No, you say, I have a First Amendment right to support my child directly and to spend my money how I see fit, not to pay another person, a third party, mother or not, father or not, those are third parties, not to pay them to raise my child in a way that I may not agree with. So your equal time is important because the way you believe, your values, and things that you convey to your children are intimate daily interactions, right? So if you're made a weekend dad or a weekend mom or put on supervised visitation, what does that do to your interaction with those children? They know follow you around, put your shoes on their feet, pretend they're you, see how you cook breakfast in the morning, or even see your morning routine. Maybe you wake up, you're groggy in the morning, grumpy, and then they see you, whatever you do to pull out of that. They learn strength, they learn coping skills. So
we all know this in popular culture. If you listen to country music, you'll know right now there's a very popular country song that speaks just to this. It's about a child who's looking to his father and he says, I want to be just like you, Daddy. I want to eat all my food and grow up strong, and I want to do all these things just like Daddy. But it's in our popular culture. We all know it. Your children learn from watching intimate daily actions every day, how you feed them, how you clothe them, how you bathe them, how you wake them up in the morning, how you get angry at certain things, how you don't get angry at certain things. Our children are conscious. They soak all this up. Those are First Amendment rights. For you to express all this to your child, and indirectly, it's a First Amendment right for your child. This is critically important. These are rights of your children. Your children have these rights to learn from you through daily interaction. That means you have to have equal time for your First Amendment rights to be equal. And the First Amendment rights do have to be equal.
that means you do not have to be a model parent. So all of these tests and examinations and evaluations they're doing with you guys, get out of them any way you are able to do that. That is just a fishing expedition. Now, of course, we don't know all your nuances, so if check with whoever you need to get legal advice. But we're not attorneys. But I haven't seen one yet that has been used with fit parents that was being used for the purpose of trying to find something on one of them so they could deprive one of them and their children of those equal time and rights together. So why do you pay for that?
And just to be aware, the Supreme Court has said that in no ever acceptable. There is no way you can get past the Fourth Amendment on those open-ended searches. Anytime they're doing family study, looking for anything to do with best interest, that is an open-ended, unconstitutional search. You need to stand up and tell them no. And every parent we've talked to that's done that, the courts have backed off, of course, because the courts know this.
Now remember, if they've already ordered it and you go back in later and tell them no, they're probably going to try to put you in jail for fees owed to an amicus or a guardian ad litem, or they'll find some way to attack you. It's happened to many parents, so be really careful about how you're doing this when you're doing it. We're not saying don't do it, but be very strategic about it. Know what you're facing. Know that if they've already made an order, you can, try different techniques and tactics to try to get that order overturned. But just make sure you're keeping yourself protected and safe too, because it doesn't do anybody any good to have any of you guys in jail. Then you can lose your job and other means. You do need to have your job and your resources so that you can fight back. That's one of their strategies of let's make you guys all broke so you'll just shut up and go away and fight back, right? I'm so happy to see that that's not the case with you guys, but it is the case with people all over the United States. They're unable to fight back. They can't afford to fight back anymore. So we need to make it easier for them. We need to start teaching them these arguments from fixedfamilycourts.com. We need to start simplifying things for these attorneys. We need to know what we're asking our attorneys to do. We need to know what we're paying those attorneys to do, right? You don't just give them retainers and deposits anymore and just say, help me. Because they're going to help you in the way that is helping the process right now. It's helping the system. It's not helping you. It's not helping your children. It's feeding the machine. You've got to get out of that cycle, and the only ways that we know how right now is to use these arguments, stand by your arguments. How many people have you seen in history that stood by their arguments that didn't eventually win? What did we just see recently win? Same-sex marriage, right? And we're not asking any of you to agree or disagree on what your values or feelings are about it, but they didn't give in, did they? Were some of them beat and killed along the way over the generation? Yeah. Absolutely. Were some of them, beat down so bad that they thought they couldn't get out of bed the next day? Of course they were. And I just wanted to say that also we just wanted to say that we have been very touched by what happened in Orlando since I brought up this issue. And somebody posted today something about how the outpouring of support has been so touching to them. They were driving along the freeway in Orlando, and they saw how many people were still out there giving for the people in need. This is what we need to do for the people going through family courts. We need to see people out there, helping them, standing by their side, going to court with them, and like we said, teaching them. I know that every time a parent has contacted us and we've gotten to work with them, that they have felt better. No matter what the results are, they at least felt like they were heard, like they had somebody there watching over them, like they had someone there helping them stay strong. I don't know if you guys know how important that is, but going through this alone is not a good thing. So if you know anybody that needs that help, please give it to them. If not, get in contact with these guys, Texans for Parental Equality. Get in contact with us at fixedfamilycourts.com, and we'll try to connect them up with somebody. But I wanted to kind of wrap this up with, we have some webinars coming up that is going to continue the education on how to continue to stand up to these abuses of power. So we hope that you guys will get into some of these and that you will share this knowledge and information. Repeat arguments. They are starting to take off. We see memes with them. We see things like children are entitled to equal time with both parents, things like that. That comes from these arguments about your rights, okay? So I hope I touched on everything, and I don't know if we have time for a couple of questions, but if anyone out there had something they wanted us to touch on or ask us.
Before we do that, I'd like to just wrap up a statement here, and then we can answer questions. I want everyone out here to realize that all fit parents share the same rights. It is not legitimate for them to deny you rights as a parent based on your marital status. That means if you are a single parent never married, they cannot deny you your rights. That means if you change your marital status to divorce, that is not a legitimate reason to change your legal rights as a parent. If you know this, you can be strong. If you understand where this comes from, you can be strong. Learn what your rights are, and you will be powerful. I'd like to the legislation after this law is passed in our country, got passed for the state registration to provide on child support of the state court. They jail to provide on child support. Well, first of all, the statute that allows for child support is wildly unconstitutional. They do not apply the proper procedural due process to assign you with child support. When they do, it's a quasi-criminal process, specifically because of statutes like that, where they say they can classify you in this way for any reason they want to. And that's literally what the statute says to award child support. They can award child support at any time for any reason. And that's it. That gives these judges unlimited power. And at least one state appellate court here in Texas has said that the power of these judges in divorce courts is, their words, unlimited. Now, Sherry and I have filed a federal lawsuit in the Eastern District here in Texas, federal court, not state court, and we have challenged all of these statutes. The Attorney General is fully aware. The Attorney General tried to get it shut down. He was unable to. The Attorney General failed to respond to any of these constitutional issues on the merits. They did not put up even one challenge to any of these constitutional statements that we're making, not one. And the federal judge right now is determining what our rights are under the federal constitution and whether or not these statutes, including the child support statute, are in fact unconstitutional. We believe that this federal court judge will come back and say that these laws are unconstitutional, and then that statute you're referring to will be meaningless because they will not be able to award child support.
I have one additional comment on that question about the registration. I saw a post floating around that, I don't remember who posted it, but it had a bunch of cases that they were citing, stating that, something about the Supreme Court said that driving is a right of liberty or something like that. You got to be a little bit careful with how you're interpreting rights, because states can regulate rights. It's just that they have to follow proper procedure and due process. And I believe if they follow proper procedure and due process, that this regulation or this revocation of your registration of your vehicle would not meet constitutional muster. I believe that it would be found unconstitutional for them to take away your ability to earn a living.
And in fact, the U.S. Attorney General believes the same way we do. They released just recently in the last month or two a letter openly addressed to all the state courts and all the state's attorneys general about this and about whether or not they should be putting people in jail for a debt. And that's essentially what child support is. They try to say it's a duty, but the only duty they can impose is a minimum standard that's equally applicable to all parents. They cannot single out, under the Equal Protection Clause, any subclass of parents to impose a duty on them without proper due process. They cannot do it to you simply because you got divorced. It is as blatantly unconstitutional as it can be. And so all of these things they're doing, the Attorney General of this state knows is unconstitutional because the Attorney General of the United States has made it very clear to him that it's unconstitutional. He flat out doesn't care. And we're here to tell him he's going to have to care.